and welcome to Arts 101, a show done in partnership between Out and About Magazine and CMAP. I'm your host, Susan Murphy Patereau, for this episode for November 2012. Arts 101 is dedicated to supporting local arts happening in communities along Highway 101. Arts 101 is for the community and by the community and showcases artists from Hollister, Gilroy, San Juan Bautista, and the surrounding areas. Arts 101 is working with Out and About Magazine for all the best events along Highway 101, from theater works to new up-and-coming local bands at venues like the Aromas Grange, the Vault, Black Sage, and the Gaslighter. Arts 101 is your one-stop destination for the local art scene. Let's get right to it. First off, we will be interviewing John Chadwell, who just published his fourth book, The Werewolves of New Idaria. Next, we will have a segment about the Northern California Renaissance Fair and all the wonderful art to be seen there. And then last, we will have an interview with local singer and musician Austin Carini, who was just on the TV show The X Factor. You too can submit videos for our show. I want to encourage you to, all of you, to document local artists and send in your videos to our show's producer at this email address, james@cmap.tv. And with no further ado, I bring you our first guest, John Chadwell. Thank you for joining us today, John.
Well, thanks for having me.
So we want to talk about writing and books, and you have 4 books out now, one new one that we're going to talk about, but you have 3 other books that you have written prior to this one, so you're an experienced author, is that correct?
Well, in the last couple of years, my background is mainly television and film writing, and I've kind of, since I've retired, I decided to venture into being a novelist, and I've got, through self-publishing and through a traditional publisher, I've been able to get 4 books out.
Okay, so the original 3, the ones that had been published, are Pershing, The Soldier's General, and that's a novel. Then Major Crime Unit, which is Operation Casablanca. It's based on a real-life event,
True story that an undercover operation which a relative of mine was involved in, and he was undercover in both the Mexican and Colombian drug cartels. It was a very hazardous situation. It turned into an interesting story.
Oh, okay, great. And then the other one was Hunt for the Sea Wolves, and that's, again, fiction, work of fiction.
It's a thriller, basically about modern-day piracy.
Okay, good. Well, what we really want to talk about today, though, is your latest book, which is a graphic novel, and it's called Werewolves of New Idaria. So first of all, New Idaria is a real place. Our viewers will recognize that name. It's a ghost town, right?
What's left of it. There was a fire a couple of years ago that burned down most of it. But when I went out there and took a look at it, it was quite large, and it used to be, they mined mercury, I believe, and I think it was finally abandoned in the 70s.
Okay. All right, so that it's based on a location that we'll know, but werewolves, we've heard about ghosts out there, but not werewolves yet, so that'll be interesting. And you wrote the words to it,
right.
But then there's an illustrator, Duncan Long. So where's Duncan? Why isn't he with us today?
Duncan's in Kansas.
Okay.
Never met him. This is kind of a project through social media. I wrote this first as a screenplay because I work with another screenwriter in Los Angeles, and we were kind of script doctors, and we're trying to get some screenplays produced, but then I decided to turn this into a graphic novel. Well, first a novel, and then it turned out it was really too short to be a novel, so I started thinking graphic novel. And I use LinkedIn. I'm on there with a lot of other professionals, so I started asking if there was any artists who might be interested in taking a chance with me to turn this into a graphic novel. And Duncan Long was one of the 2 that stepped forward. And over a period of time, we got to know each other over the internet, email and such, and found out we had similar values and whatever. And this eventually evolved from a strictly a horror story, you know, werewolves and such. Both Duncan and I are Christians, and we thought, well, let's change this around and make the werewolves the good guys, but give a kind of a light touch, a Christian touch, to where they're fighting for good against evil. And there's 900 years of story here because that's how old the lead werewolf is.
Okay, great. Well, that's an interesting story. So we have New Idrea, a real place, which is a ghost town. We have
Hollister's in it too.
Hollister. We have werewolves, which could be real, could be not. And we have Christians. You don't often see Christians involved in werewolf stories.
No, you don't.
They don't cross over there too much either.
Well, we're hoping we're breaking new ground here.
Okay, there you go. So this sounds very interesting.
And they're
John.
bikers.
And the bikers too.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the Hollister tie-in too.
Every time I say they're fighting the biker gang from hell, basically. Everybody says, oh, you're taking a bad view of bikers again, you know, because people in Hollister get their, you know, they get up in arms when you start downgrading bikers, and I guarantee you the bikers are not downgraded in here because the werewolves are bikers, and they're the good guys.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know, let's, really interesting story, and we all have to get the book now that we have been teased with all that information. I do want to talk about the business of publishing just a little bit. Now, you said self-publishing.
These three. This one is published through a traditional publisher.
Through a publisher. So you submitted a script and it got approved or not approved, or?
What happened is I have the screenplay, which is being marketed down in Los Angeles now. And I adapted this to a graphic novel and working with Duncan Long to come up with the drawings. And through the social media, just being out there, Moonstone Books saw our conversation going back and forth, and they contacted me and said they'd be interested in seeing it. Moonstone Books is up in Illinois, and they do a lot of graphic novels and comic books. And so they approached us about doing it, and so we produced it and sent them all the artwork and the story and everything. They put it together, and it came out last month.
Okay. And I understand you had a great book signing over at Barnes & Noble in Gilroy.
Yeah, on the 30th, just in time for Halloween. They thought they would tie it in. We were going to do it on the 31st, but they said, well, the store will probably be empty on the 31st. So we decided to do it, tie it in with Halloween and everything, because it's kind of a natural, the horror story bent to it, and it went well.
Great. And then do you have any other appearances or anything going on locally?
I was waiting to kind of see how the Barnes & Noble thing went, and then I'm finding out that it's very easy to approach Barnes & Noble, and everywhere I go, because I go down to Southern California a lot, I have family down there. So I thought wherever I go, I'm just going to walk in and talk to the store manager, and they live and die by book signings, you know. I mean, they like their authors to come in there, and the book is available through them, so they can just order a few, and then I show up on a designated night and do a book signing for them.
Go. Well, let's appeal to our audience too. If you have an idea for John about an appearance, perhaps speaking at a group that you belong to, bringing some books along to sell and sign, maybe those kinds of things could come out of this. If you have any ideas, you again can email those to our producer, this show's producer, James at cmap.tv, and he'll be sure and put you in contact with John. So John, what do you do now? Do you, one last business question here. The book is very intriguing. The business question is, when you travel around, do you have like a trunk full of books that you kind of just carry here and there, or?
No, Barnes & Noble anyway, they will order so many copies. They haven't told me how many copies they're ordering. They order them because if they don't sell, they can send them back. If I buy them, I got them. Then I'm trying to sell them one at a time. So I'd rather work with somebody like Barnes & Noble or a comic book store or something, so they'll order a few, and then whatever we don't sell, they can just return to the publisher.
Sure, okay. So you don't have to carry around all your books.
These I do.
Okay, the self-published ones, okay.
But these are also available through Barnes & Noble. That's the self-publishing through Amazon, which is great for anybody who wants to be a writer, because it's so easy to do this now. It's just uploading the book and the artwork, and you got yourself a book. And it's on Amazon, the biggest seller in the world. And then Amazon works through Barnes & Noble.
Well, that is so interesting. The story, the new book and the business of bookselling today is very interesting. So we really appreciate you telling us, our artist friends here on Arts 101, about both sides of that, both the story and about the business side of it too. If you need more information about John, again, you can contact our producer and get put in contact with John to talk about either buying a book, selling a book, or the publishing part of booking. And we thank you, John, very much for being here. Very best of luck with this book and continued success on your other books.
Thank you for having me.
Great piece of guys and forgives again. My trifles come as visions from my mind.
Hey, this is James, and we are at the Renaissance Fair, Northern California Renaissance Fair in Casa de Fruta, and today we're rousting about and seeing all what there is to see. So we're going to go and interview some people here in this fine clothing store and enjoy all the sights. Enjoy.
Within this pack, pins, points, laces, and gloves, and divers toys.
My name is Lady Janine. I work here at Tickle Dye Fantasy Clothing, and we sell all handmade Renaissance attire, as well as some whimsical wear. I'd say that since we have been in business for 42 years here at the Renaissance Fair, and making our own clothing line, I would say a lot of people that come already do know my lady's work. So they do come specifically to see what new things she has created each year. Everything in our shop is handmade by one woman and her lowly apprentice, which is me. And we do 2 shows a year only. We do the Southern California Renaissance Fair and the Northern California Renaissance Fair. Everything is made here in the United States, indeed.
Okay.
We support the true American craft. Indeed. The dying breeds.
All my wares be trash, but the heart is true. The heart is true. The heart is true. All my wares be trash, the heart is true. The heart is true. The heart is true. The heart is true. Great piece of guys and forgives again. My trifles come as visions from my mind. It is a precious jewel to be great. So how kind of a chance the Orient pearls we find.
We've been here for a number of years. It's a great location here because it's wooded and it gives you that magical feeling like you're literally going back in time. And it's just a fair full of amazing artisans out here. I don't know if you guys have wandered around much, but it's incredible.
Within this pack, pins, points, laces, and gloves, and divers toys, fitting the country fair. But in this hard, good to you, sir.
Get a free t-shirt if we show these t-shirt.
Happy the heart that thinks.
If you were gold, oh man, you look like
I'd be the wrong three.
a lot of people don't look like that.
Well, there's people in costume and people in regular clothes. I'm like some weird half-fashion.
One day. I think we're done. Oh, there's a bigger band coming. We're out of here. Come see
Well, we're at the Renaissance Fair out here in Casa de Fruta. Thank you. I'm Kim. I'm the owner, and I do crowns and garlands and all sorts of pretty little frilly things. I started at the fair just for fun. Came out here one day, was just drawn to it all. I love this period of history, and I knew I had to come back, so I dumped my date, came back with a girlfriend the following weekend, met someone who owned a pillow fighting booth and stayed there for a couple of years, loving it, having just nothing but fun. And then I realized I could do this and make a little money doing this and not just have fun and spend money. And so I started making my garlands, got accepted into the fair, and then I moved into crowns, which are these little guys on my head, do all kinds of crowns here. Let me grab this and show you. Crowns as well, which I love. And my inspiration just comes from all sorts of things. I'm artsy, crafty, I've always been. I'm not the math and science person, So when I started hanging out here and had the opportunity to start making things, it just kind of grew on itself. And I will grab some colors that I like Tina's wearing all the colors that are my favorites, and I'll just lay them down in front of me and kind of see something and go, oh! Like this, for example. It's a design that I created one day out of necessity because I lost my supplier for the base unit I used to make these from, so I had to start making my own. And I just laid things down until I saw something and went, that's it!
Right.
Yeah. If you're a creative soul, it's just something in you. It's like people who write music, I don't know how they do it, but for them it's just in you. This is my area.
Well, that looked like a really fun place to be, the Renaissance Fair. Welcome back from that. That was a fun segment. We are back in the studio. We have another really exciting guest with us today. I can't wait to get to talking to. This is Austin Carini, and he has just made an appearance, several appearances on The X Factor, the TV show that's on Wednesday and Thursday evenings throughout the season. And so I want to welcome Austin. Thank you so much for making time for us today. Arts 101 is honored to have you here.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you very much. It means a lot.
Great. Well, welcome back home. You're sort of back and grounded now after the X Factor. But I do want to know a little bit about the pre-X Factor, how you got started, what you did. Tell us about who you are.
Well, that was a crazy process. It definitely wasn't easy. There were many auditions before I can even see the judges, actually, and I did it all online. That's where it was submitted. And that worked out very well, and God answered my prayers, and I got to meet the judges in North Carolina because I actually missed the auditions in San Francisco. So I went to Greensboro, North Carolina, and I was there. It was a lot of stress, but I kept, reminding myself, you got this big thing coming up. The last thing you want to do is, over stress about it. So I calmed myself down. I went out there and just pretty much did it.
Well, so when you did all of the pre-work, is it one song that you concentrate on and prepare, or are there a series of songs that you have to get ready?
Personally, I practice 5 songs, and I know that is definitely what they suggest, is to come ready with 5. And the song I came down to choose is What's Wanted by Hunter Hayes, and that's the song you saw me sing on my audition. Okay. And that was actually handpicked by my girlfriend, so the ladies know best.
Oh,
so.
Austin, you've just broken hearts out there on the audience when you said girlfriend. They were all hoping you were single, but Austin is tied up. He has a girlfriend. All right, so we'll have to get past that now.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Now, so you got to North Carolina. You made the cut. Then where did you go from there?
I actually got to come home from there and get prepared for the next round in Miami, Florida, which is a beautiful, beautiful place to be. And that was more fun because I had already gotten all the stress out of the way. Everything's done. I've gotten through with the 4 yeses, and now I just got to focus on a song that I really feel passionate about. And that ended up being To Make You Feel My Love by Garth Brooks, which I sang for the judges. I know everybody likes older songs, and country always breaking hearts, so.
Oh yeah, they break your heart. Do you pick country over other genres, or was that just the song that happened to work then?
That just happened to be the song that really tied with me because my dad was just like, oh, I love this song, and I was like, you always have me do these older songs. If it was your choice, I'd sing Van Halen. He was like, no. He's like, no, I want you to listen to this. And I listened to it and really liked it. And then I started singing to it, and it was really easy to sing. And it, vocally it felt easy to sing, but it was tough to learn. Let me put it that way. But when you get the hang of that song and you sing it, it's peaceful, relaxing, and that's the attitude you want to give to your viewers, your audience, is for them to be at peace and totally relaxed with it.
Okay.
So that was kind of what I was aiming for with that song, and it worked. And I got to the next round. So
Great. Well, now you talked about your dad as taking advice from him. Teenagers don't often take advice from their parents. But do you have like a panel of advisors, a group of family and friends and things that help you out, or do you make a lot of decisions kind of on your own?
My mom is actually an amazing musician. She sings, and she pretty much has coached me through the singing and the career and everything.
So more your mom than your dad, but in this case, he happened to influence this choice just a little bit more, huh?
Yeah. He definitely was down for that song.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. Let's do it.
Yeah, and then I read a little bit of a newspaper article about recording in a airtight studio. Well, tell us that story a little bit.
Well, are you talking about the studio I recorded now or before?
No, the one in Morgan Hill that you did. You had to record in the tiny little studio to submit the tape. You don't remember that, huh?
Oh yeah. For X Factor.
Yeah.
I went into this little kind of like booth, and there's a little camera with Simon's face on it, and he was like asking me questions like, do you have what it takes to take it in X Factor, and do you have the X Factor and all that stuff? It was like nerve-wracking, but you can redo it. If you messed up, you were able to retape it a certain amount of times, but it was still just like pretty nerve-wracking. The whole experience is just, as much fun as you have, there's always going to be nerves there, and you can look relaxed, you can act relaxed, but deep down inside, everybody's just like freaking out.
Well, so now you mentioned Simon. That's Simon Cowell, the Simon Cowell,
Yes,
right?
the Simon Cowell.
Yeah, and so he interviewed you and asked you some questions. And then who else? Who are the other celebrities that were on the X Factor?
There was Britney Spears, Demi Lovato, who was based off of Disney Channel, and L.A. Reid, who is a famous musical producer who actually works with Justin Bieber.
Okay. Good. And then have you got a Simon story for us? What can you tell us about Simon?
One of the coolest things with me and Simon, he's a really nice guy. So when I met him...
Really? Don't tell us that.
He is. He's a great guy. He's super awesome, and he gave us free headphones and that he had, and they were all designed. They were X Factor headphones, Sony headphones. He was talking about them, and he was just standing right in front of me, and it was like, he's kind of like talking to me. He knows I exist. This is pretty cool. And he was just talking to me and some of my friends. He was like, yeah, I kind of designed these, and I just figured you guys would enjoy them and everything. And it was just like, it was pretty cool. It made me feel famous. It made me feel like we were like best friends or something.
That's really nice. That's nice to hear about the celebrities that are on the show too.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So what's next? What are you going to do next? There's a lot that you've done. So what's on your list now?
Well, I'm currently writing a lot of music,
Okay.
Preparing for the soonest time possible that I can get it out there to the world. I want to get as much as I can on iTunes, which is fun. I like to write. My mom goes over a lot of the songs I write. She goes, okay, change this, and I like that. And she just she coaches me through pretty much everything I do in music because she knows what she's talking about. And so that's what I'm working on now. And I'm working on some Christmas stuff for the holidays coming up. So I'm hoping that'll get some good popularity and just pretty much getting as much as I can out there. That's me, my original stuff.
So when you say get it on iTunes, you write the lyrics, and do you do the music too? Lyrics and music, and you put it all together and then you perform it. Do you have a band, a group that you work with to get all the music together to do that, or?
I actually just get my instrumentals off of YouTube.
Oh,
and
I
stuff.
see, okay.
For covers, but for like originals and stuff, I usually make them on my guitar, or I'll have my friend Justin Young, who is he works at Young Fire Studios, is where I record now. I have him like create instrumentals and stuff, which I'm gonna start talking to him about in the future, and getting people to actually come in with real physical instruments rather than what's all online now.
I see, okay.
Electronics. I'm trying to get as much real music in as possible. And I'm not saying what's electronic isn't real music.
Of course, yeah.
I'm just saying I prefer the hands-on, talented. You have to use your history of lessons kind of music. So I'm looking for good guitar players, good bassists. My brother CJ, great drummer. I have him in there a lot. So that's what I'm trying to base my music around.
Okay. Well, God, it's been great to get to know you, Austin. Thank you so much for making time for Arts 101 to come locally and have time for us locally after your big appearances on the X Factor, and congratulations on that. That's a fabulous accomplishment for
you very much.
And your whole support group. I know that everyone's very proud of you. So now it's back to school for Austin and hard work getting some things done here. The celebrities aren't hanging out with him anymore, but I think probably that'll happen again, Austin.
Let's hope so, yeah.
Okay. Well, we really had a great time today with great guests and a lot of good information, and we hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, then let James know. He's our producer, James at cmap.tv. And of course, don't forget, if you know a local artist that needs to be promoted, that deserves to be promoted, contact James and we'll make arrangements to get your tapes in or to get guests on our show again. We love having local artists come and talk to us about their art. Thank you for being with us. This is Susan Murphy Patereau. I had a great time today.